All right. Hello there. Welcome to PlumTalks, a podcast where marketing experts talk about how to make a difference in the world of marketing. I'm your host Natasha Joshi, a marketing strategist at Plumfine, and I'm super excited to dive deep into today's topic, unleashing performance marketing for non-tech marketers. Now, I know you have got a great idea of how important this topic is, especially if you are a marketer from a non-tech background. So, without any further ado, let's invite our guest for the day, Mr. Sandesh Gupta. Sandesh is a marketing professional with a wealth of experience in performance marketing and digital strategies. With a strong focus on data driven decision making, Sandesh has successfully leveraged his expertise to drive exceptional results for businesses across various industries. Welcome, Sandesh. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this podcast. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Natasha, for inviting. Yeah, all good. I hope everything is fine at your end.
Absolutely. So, Sandesh, would you like to tell a little bit about yourself to our audience?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, guys, I think I am a, you know, software developer turns into digital marketer. Initial 1.5 year, I was working as a software developer, but then I have, ventured into my own, entrepreneurship field. There, I was taking care of, marketing things, and that field I personally liked it a lot. And then I thought of, continuing in that particular area. So I think so far I've spent more than 10 plus years, and yes, as Natasha has mentioned, majorly it is in performance marketing and taking decisions and maybe forming strategies precisely to grow business. Just to add few more things, I have seen different variations of business as well, from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100. And it's not like that every same strategy you can follow for each kind of business segment. Again, depending on the kind of business, depending on the kind of industries, there are a lot of different things that you have to do and you have to experiment. So yeah, in all, this is about me. And currently I'm working with MPL, and again taking care of their US business, which again we are doing 0 to 1 for MPL.
Okay. Would you like to share a little bit about MPA? Like, what is the company
Definitely,
now?
yes. Yeah, so MPL, I believe everyone is aware of. They are one of the well-known gaming platform in India. Primarily in India, we are very much known for our fantasy segment, our Rummy segment, casual games like Rummy, Ludo, Snake and Ladders, and all. Uh, so this is what I am taking care of is the US market, which again we are trying to build something from the scratch. Again, we know that there is a huge potential of gaming across the world. US again being one of them. There are a good amount of companies which has become unicorn in a very short span of time in US also. So again, I think the kind of knowledge that we have, the kind of platform that we have, and the kind of expertise again that we have with respect to what works well in terms of, and again not just knowledge and expertise, I think the kind of tech we have, right, to control fraud, to host a lot of players at the same time, right? So all these things, I think we know that we have all these capabilities, so hence we thought of launching in US. And it's been around 1.5 year kind of a thing, since we have launched US. And again, over there, we are majorly focusing on the casual games like Bingo, Cube Solitaire, which are very native to US. But along with that, we are also, opened a new variety of games like Gin Rummy, like Snake and Ladders, which are not very common in US. And again, this is something a competitive edge also you can talk about, because people are also seeing a little different variations of game and they're liking it, right? So these are some of the things which are currently there in pipeline, and we are working on growing US business.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us. So, Sandesh, let's dive into the world of performance marketing as you are the specialist here. So, for
Right.
all our non tech marketers or marketers in general out there listening to this podcast, could you share some examples of how performance marketing can be tangible, can be unleashed to dive into, get some tangible results? Starting with what
Right.
performance marketing is and how are you applying it in the industry that you're working in currently?
Sure. No, I think a very good question. Generally, people confuses digital marketing in all with, that okay, this is only performance, but performance marketing is a part of digital marketing. Digital marketing again have a lot of other, flavors when it comes, right? And performance always play a key role, a very vital role, because any business, like if you are growing, right, which requires performance marketing primarily to show the results, like so this is one of the thing where you can say that okay, if I'm spending 1 rupee, am I able to recover this, or am I able to get what outcome out of that 1 rupee? So this is one of the area where you can have a tangible results that you can quantify from the performance from the wing of that digital marketing, right? So this is one thing. So precisely, if I have to talk about what performance marketing is, one is very much result oriented marketing. Second is very much needed for any business who are looking for a growth. Third is majorly ROI driven. So you can calculate that okay, if I'm spending something, what ROI I am getting from that business, from that particular marketing for my business. And fourth is you will find a very good amount of targeting parameters to support all these things. Like in general, if you do any kind of a marketing, you will not find a very high intent users to target and to get the results, right? So this is one of the area where that okay, this is my user. For example, I'll just add one small example to uh, you know uh, describe what I'm talking about. The targeting is, let's say you are looking for an iPhone, right? What people will do generally, they will go to Google and search iPhone online or buy iPhone. So people who are doing that, you can target those users, right? So this is the power of performance marketing, I would say, where that if this user is typing this keyword, I would like to show my ad and then I would like to convert this user. So precisely these are the four things which revolves around performance marketing.
That's awesome, and I think it is very helpful if we can target the correct audience directly. And
Yes.
it does take some involvement of money. Like there are organic ways of marketing as well, but I guess performance marketing is a great way of getting ROI as well, right?
Yes.
Great, great, Sandesh. So now, who who may be new to performance marketing? What are some
Hmm.
key strategies or tactics that they can employ to optimize their campaigns and achieve better
Right.
results? I mean, are there any methods you would recommend? Something you tried and gave you great results?
No, definitely. No, I think few things. So first of all, I would say that if anyone is new to performance marketing, they would just first understand the basics of each and every channel. Like because so before that, they would also like to understand what their end goal is. Let's say if I'm a insurance company, for me the end goal is that I would like to get a lot of leads, right? So that my sales team can work on it. Let's say if I'm a health tech company, right? So again, there I would like a lot of appointments first, right? So that they can convert and then I can get business out of it. Let's say if I'm a direct e-commerce or a D2C business, there I don't want leads and all those things because that won't help. I want a direct sale or direct purchase from that platform. So look for the end goal first, then try to understand what are the different channels available in front of me. Obviously Google, Facebook will always come as the key performance marketing channel, but there is a lot of things again you can do in Google and Facebook. So you have to understand the objectives very clearly, because in Google you can run display campaign, you can run search campaign, you can run performance campaign, you can run shopping campaign, right? A lot of other variations are available. So it is not like that okay, you are just blindly using anything. So just go through all these things, and every information is available very handy, right? I can also talk about how you can, I think later in the discussion we can figure it out. But majorly first thing is that what is your end goal. Second is that how exactly you would like to use the channels in order to achieve your end goal. I have seen most of the marketers suffering in these two things only. They don't know okay, what exactly I'm looking for, and secondly blindly they are just using because they know okay, Google can help me in performance marketing. They're just running any random campaign, which might not be the right strategy. So I think this is the first thing that they would like to understand. And later on I would suggest that just stick to your key KPIs. For example, let's say lead is your key KPI. Just start monitoring that data on a very regular basis, right? Because if you're not doing that, then it is I would say you're committing a very big mistake, because performance marketing is all about tracking your results, right? So sometime I've seen that okay, marketers are just doing some campaigns, but they don't know, okay, what is happening with their campaign. So just be like, go through that data. It won't take a lot of time, right? You can just spend half an hour in a day, right, to go through what exactly has happened a previous day, and then try to understand and take some decisions over it. But I think summarizing it again, I think first understand your end goal, then understand the basics of the channel and basic objectives of each and every channel so that you can marry it equally. And third is just understand your key KPIs and monitor it on a regular basis. I think this is the practice that one has to do in their whenever they are doing the performance marketing campaigns.
Right. And one point that you mentioned, performance marketing is nothing if we can't track the entire performance of the campaign. So that is well noted. And yeah, so that's very valuable information that you have just shared, because I think it's very important, as you mentioned, to focus on the end goal. A lot of time marketers does forget that we have to focus on the end goal first and then create the campaign accordingly. Right.
Right.
So, moving ahead in this fast-paced digital landscape, can you share any insights or techniques on how marketers can stay up to date with the latest trends and changes in performance marketing?
Yeah, no, even after spending 10 years in this field, right? Because this is a very evolving field, Natasha, right? And even a marketer like me, also has to be on our toe to understand, okay, what is currently coming new, because this is very evolving. Every month you are seeing something coming new, and but again, I think key things that I would say that what I am doing personally to keep me posted, and again that can help any young marketer or any advanced marketer, is that first of all, just follow the handles or the pages of the tools that you are currently using. For example, if you're using Google ads, if you're using Facebook ads, right, just follow their handles, because that is the first information, first area where they will trying to show any information that they are launching new.
Right.
That is first. Second, in my opinion, is that there are a lot of journals like search engine journals, search engine land, right, which again talk about a lot of, like, there are blogs and all these things which again talk about a lot of this information as soon as they are getting this news from all these Googles and Facebook or any marketing channel, that okay, this is something new and this is something coming, let's say in the next 2 months and all. So that is the second thing. Third, I would suggest start following little bit, your digital gurus or the key agencies which are there in India or in overseas. For example, if you know that some agencies doing really great, they are working with a lot of clients like Swiggy, Zomato, right? Because they're doing a lot of experiments, and they always publish a lot of case studies with respect to what they have done and how exactly they have operate those things, execute those things, and what are the final outcomes. So try to follow those areas as well, because I've seen that a lot can be done if you are just following the right person as well, because they are also throwing their knowledge, showing their what all they have done, and just try to consume that knowledge will definitely going to support a lot. And fourth, I would say that there are a lot of tools available in the market which also try to gather all this information. For example, SEMrush, for example, your Moz. So these are all organic growth tools, which again try to publish a lot of information on the performance marketing side. So again, a part of blog, but this is more on the tool side, because blog generally talk about little bit generic. But when you go to these tools website and their blog, they will talk very much specific, and they will also tell you that how you can execute things using their tools, and how you can try to get the final outcome of that particular experiment that someone has done. So I believe these are the 3-4 key areas that one should start following to keep themselves updated with all the new things that are happening. And it is helping me. I am definitely sure that it will going to help other folks as well.
Great. I think there's one more thing about AI, because AI has been very active these days from past 1 year. So I think it is also making a great impact on how marketers are creating campaigns, performance marketing as well. Right? What do you think?
Definitely. No, I think right now what I have seen AI role in performance marketing is majorly on the content creation and the creative side of the things, which basically mean that previously I have to, let's say, depend on my content writer to give me, let's say, any content which can help me optimizing my website or something like that. Right now, it can be done very quickly because you already have a set of content that you can generate through AI. Same way, like let's say if you're also running any performance marketing campaign and you need creatives, you need ad copies, those again can be done very quickly with the right set of intent providing in those copies and everything. So this is one area which I've seen personally and used it personally, where the TAT has improved. Basically, the turnaround time has definitely improved for getting those ad copies and the creative and the content. But when it comes to executing the campaign, which basically means the strategy, which basically means the data, which basically means that am I using the right targeting? I believe is still a manual hindrance is needed. AI is there, but let's say AI generally works on the data that you're feeding, right? But let's say you are very new and you don't have a data, right? Then AI will not work for you primarily, right? So there again, you need to train your system first, and it will require a lot of time because generally I've seen when a new company is launching something, right, their budget is also not like that. They can train the system very quickly, right? So you have to handle the system initially. Later on, yes, once you will have a very good amount of data, then AI can also help you in strategizing the things, or making your optimization further better. But one thing which is a no-brainer, I would say, is content creatives and ad copies, which again you can try to generate and then just go through it and try to modify it as per your need. But I would say roughly 70 to 80% will be very handy if you're using the AI tools basically.
Absolutely. And the one point that you mentioned, you have to go hand in hand. I think that's wonderfully mentioned, because if we are not putting a human touch, because AI can't do it right now,
Yeah.
it would be incomplete in some sense,
Yes.
right? All right, Sandesh, thank you for sharing such insights. So, I wanted to know, are there any common pitfalls that you have seen in your experience, or challenges that specifically for non-tech marketers, as they are focused on them right now? So, are there any pitfalls or challenges that they may encounter while implementing performance marketing? And if they do that, how can they overcome these challenges? And you can also share any challenges that you faced in your early
Right.
years. Yeah.
Sure. No, I think, see, performance marketing, again, I think we are focusing on one keyword, which is the non-tech, right? Reason being that when you're doing performance marketing, it involves a lot of technicalities, right? Technicalities in the form of, okay, how I have to set up a campaign. First of all, how I can basically use certain tool. Let's say if I have to run a Google ad campaign, for starting a Google ad campaign also, you have to learn that platform and try to understand that platform, and it is little technical. That is first. Then even after launching, there are a lot of things that, okay, if a user is coming onto my website, before that, even on the URL piece, right, what kind of URL I have to use in order to track the journey of that user, right? Because I think we've talked about that tracking is important, but how it will happen, right? So that is the second thing. So it's the journey basically. So first is setting up the campaign. There also some technicalities are there. Then the URLs, right? And all these are pitfalls basically, Natasha, right? So if I don't know, okay, what is my platform, and I'm just going blinded and just doing something random, that is the first thing. So again, going back to the same thing, that okay, learn the basics. Okay, what exactly is Google ad, right? So that will eventually help you in removing that hindrance, and again understanding, okay, how exactly I can run or start a Google ad campaign. Second is when I'm setting up the campaign, all these things will come. Okay, there is a URL, there is a tracking parameters, right? Then there is a pixel that I have to put on my website to understand whether user is coming, what they are doing exactly when they are coming onto my website, and all these are technical terms. So second pitfall is that understanding those technical terms. I have seen a lot of time of people have a fear saying that, okay, I don't know what pixel is, I don't know what tracking parameters are, and it is nothing, right? Any layman can understand if they can just go through it, like, okay, simple English, okay, that pixel is nothing but it's a code that you have to put on your website to track users, right? So I think even in my career, like, when I was in an agency, I've seen a lot of marketers, a new marketer, young age marketers coming in, and when someone are throwing, obviously in marketing it's all about throwing jargons, right? And people, when they start throwing jargons, talking about, okay, pixels, talking about URL parameters, they will just get very much, they will be in a lot of fear, saying that, okay, I don't know all these things, and how. And even I have started like that, right? When I have started initially, even I was like, okay, what all are these things, right? I'm not sure, okay, what are these keywords again? a simple thing about CTR, like, which is very common, right? After spending 10 years, I'm like, okay, CTR is nothing, it's click through rate. But for a new marketer, even CTR is a jargon, right? So I would say that, okay, just there are a lot of knowledge available right now, through AI, through all these, Google internet and all, right? Just go through and consume the all these technical terms first, right? And again, it will be part of your basic thing which I've talked about. Once you're comfortable with all these terms, right, then you won't feel any kind of a fear when someone is talking about that, okay, you have to implement this, or you have to, even if you don't know how to implement this, if you understand, okay, this is something which is needed in order to track anything or in order to execute your campaign. I think these are the few things. So one is obviously understanding the basics, where I feel a lot of marketers are falling. Second is just understand the terms. Okay, you don't need to be an expert over there, but just try to understand what does that mean, right? If someone is talking about it, so that you can also discuss, and you can get some fruitful discussion with that particular person. That is the second. Third is little bit try to understand work with your tech team, work with your product managers, right? Try to understand how they are solving those things, because obviously no one will try to expect that you are going to do a tech work. But if you understand how they have done it, it is beneficial for you. So for example, let's say you are switching to a new company, right? And let's say this company doesn't have a lot of resources, but since you have worked in a certain company where you have worked very closely with your tech person, with your product person, and you have solved something, you might face similar challenges in your new company. But since you have an experience of solving that, even though the resources are limited, you can play that pivotal role and try to solve those things.
Right.
So I would say that these are the 3-4 things where I've personally seen that there is a fear, there is a kind of very limited proactivity from your end, because as a marketer you have to work with a lot of cross-functional team, because marketing doesn't, this is my again key principle, that even if you're a marketer, you cannot say that, okay, I can run that business. You have to work with, because there is a platform, there is a product, there is a other team involved, right, to get the final outcome. Marketer
Right.
just can bring the users, but after that a lot of other team has to work with them. So again, that is one more thing, that you have to work very closely with all the team to understand how they are converting. And once you know that funnel, it's very easy for you to get the right set of users. So I think broadly these are the 3-4 things where a marketer should focus. And technicalities are there, but just try to understand that, okay, it's basic English. You just have to understand, okay, what these terms are, and you are good with that. You will definitely survive with that.
I love the last line that you mentioned, that it's basic English. And one more thing is that everybody in marketing, if you're going to work in marketing, everybody is throwing jargons at you. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is very true. And yes, if we have to work in marketing, then I started that way only. I also started learning, because at first I also thought that it's okay, I don't know, and I just went
Yeah.
there and said that I don't know these terms. But then my employers, he started telling me that you should learn these terms, at least for your own benefit, so that you understand the words while we are in meeting and everything. So that really helped. That is why we are here, I guess. So moving ahead, I guess one thing that we miss talking about is data. Now, data is important. We all know data is important on every aspect of marketing, whether it's performance marketing, even in everything. To analyze things, data is the it's like the root of every marketing campaign. So,
Right.
how can marketers in general, or even non-tech marketers, leverage data and analytics to optimize their performance marketing efforts and make
Right.
data-driven decisions for further campaigns as well?
Right. I think it's again following the first principles and fundamentals of data, right? So what I've seen in general, people again have a fear, right? Because the moment you will tell them, okay, you have to work on an Excel, they will like, why? Right? I am okay, executing campaigns. Why you're asking me all these things? But I think you should avoid thinking about all such things. It is very simple, right? Even in when you were in school, right, you've done a lot of math, saying that, okay, 1 + 1 = 2, or all these multiplications and all these things. That is what data is all about, right? Just to do it and make your work little simple, one key advice that I have always given is that create your own funnel, okay, of your own campaign, which basically means that, okay, if I'm running any campaign, first of all, impressions will come, clicks will come, right? Then people will land on my website, something on the engagement will happen, right? Let's say if I'm an e-commerce website, then the people will start viewing my page, they will start viewing my product, then they will start adding to my cart, right? And then finally they will, do the transaction. So this is, let's say, one funnel for you, right? Again, don't, because when it is performance marketing, people will start having a lot of cuts, lot of data points, and people will get also confused that, okay, what exactly I have to focus on your funnel first, sort it, right? You have defined that, okay, this is my funnel. Ask your data team to give you the data on this funnel. First key principle is this, like, I need data for my campaign at these 10 points which I've just talked about, maybe starting from the impression to clicks, to, let's say, something on my website which is engagement, and then finally, let's say, add to cart and the conversion piece, right? Once you are tracking this data on a daily basis, more or less you will figure it out, okay, where is the problem happening? Is it happening on the click side? Is it happening on the impression side? Is it happening on the add to conversion, add to cart side, or is it happening at the final conversion side, right? And then you can start correlating, then go deeper, saying that, okay, now I know that the impressions are not coming. Okay, what are those campaigns where the impressions are not coming? Then try to see the cuts. The problem right now is that people started from the cuts itself. They will not see, okay, what is happening on a overall side. They will just say, okay, this campaign is not working. Maybe that is the nature of that campaign. Maybe that campaign is supporting some other campaign to get the final conversion, right? So start looking so the approach should be top to down, not down to top. But this is one of the things that I've personally seen, that people just start talking about, okay, this campaign is not working, I'm not getting the clicks from this campaign, without going into detail that, okay, why this is happening. So start observing the data from top, see whether things are holding or not, because if things are holding, then you are safe, because you are spending money, right? And people, when it is performance marketing, people need the conversions, right? So if you're spending, let's say, 100 rupees today, and yesterday you have seen that, okay, out of those 100 rupees I got, let's say, 10 users, right? Today, if you're not seeing those 10 users, then obviously there is a problem in your system or in your campaign. Somewhere there is a problem. So start from there, right? And then dig down. So this should be the right approach, but and start following that. Create your own funnel, get the data, and for the same funnel, then start digging deeper for different campaigns. Even you can go at a creative level as well. Okay, whether this creative is giving me right click or not, basically. But follow this, and that will be the right approach. 90% of the time, people just fail following this fundamental of utilizing or understanding the data, basically.
Actually, very well said, Sandesh, because it's very important to look to the problem first, like what is the problem that we're solving here, even as a marketer. And it is not just for performance marketing, it's for everything, not just for data.
This is fundamental. It will be follow across. So that is true.
Right, so we have to see the problem first instead of just jumping into the solution.
Yes.
So that's very true, and I'm very sure, even going for any domain in marketing or any niche in marketing, people start looking for tools and platforms that could be really helpful for them. So we'll also talk about tools and platforms. So I want to know, are there any specific tools that non-tech marketers or marketers in general, again, should consider using to streamline their performance marketing processes and workflows that you use?
Yeah,
and you want to share?
Sure. Like, with my experience, I would say, even so, I have generally divided things in two pieces, because there are two kinds of business. One is website driven businesses, one is your app driven businesses, and the kind of tool that you have to use for these two kind of businesses are also slightly different, because of the capabilities of the tools. You cannot have a single tool to track all these things. Generally, first of all, let me talk about the website driven businesses, because that is the first thing any marketer will try to do. They have their own website and they are trying to get a lead, or they are trying to convert user. Follow, if it is a web, just your to get any details about your website data, just follow Google Analytics. I think you should know GA very well, because that is the key tool to understand what exactly has happened on your website. I have seen a lot of time people are not aware that people are so one simple example, right, that I have seen personally, and we have worked, and I think the person who was doing that campaign was not very aware about the GA part, right? And what he has done is that he has started the campaign, they're getting the click, but this guy is using a very wrong landing page, and because of that, none of the click is converting into a session, right? Now, if this guy has a knowledge of about a GA, he can definitely go and check, okay, whether I'm getting any session out of my campaign or not, because he was very happy seeing that, okay, I'm getting clicks, but the conversions are not happening. I'm getting a click, but the conversions are not happening. So the first thing I just check it, okay, let's just open GA, just check, are you getting a session or not? And we just saw that we are getting 0 session out of all the thousands of clicks that this guy has generating on a daily basis. And this is the only gap, that I've found, that I just asked him that, why you were not checking. So he was like, I've never worked on GA. But it is something, that friction you have to remove, right? So I think GA is the key tool for any web driven businesses. When it comes to app side of the things, any MMP, which is your media tracking platform, mobile platform, which is either apps flyer, branch, because all these are same, but just have a basic understanding of one of the MMP tool, so that whenever you are running any app related campaign, you know that funnel, because all these funnels generally will come for website, the funnels will come on GA. For your app related business, the funnel will come on all these MMP platforms. So these are the two fundamentals. Now the other key things for any marketer is the competition understanding, right? Okay, how I can track what my competitor is doing. So personally, I follow SEMrush for tracking any competitor with respect to the website kind of a thing, because there you know a lot of knowledge about how they are generating the traffic, what kind of keywords they are getting the traffic, how exactly I can correlate whether I am on the right track or not. Because let's say you are new and someone is already there for last 4 years, you can also see whether you are going in right direction by using all these tools, competition tool like SEMrush and SimilarWeb. These are, you can use it for both app and web. But for app, there is another tool, data.ai, which I generally follow to understand how exactly this particular app is doing in a certain region, what kind of rankings they are getting for a certain set of keywords, what kind of different channels they are using, what is their demographic, users demographic. So I think precising GA, SEMrush, SimilarWeb, any MMP, apps flyer or branch, and data.ai, these are my like go-to tools for any business, wherever I will go and I will work for, or I am working basically.
Thank you so much for sharing these tools, because it would be really helpful for our listeners and for me as well, because there are a lot of tools out there in the market. It gets very confused. Everybody
Yes.
gets very confused to choose the right one out of it. So thank you
Right.
for sharing that. And lastly, as we wrap up, could you share any success stories or case studies where you have unleashed the power of performance marketing to achieve exceptional results? In beginning, you were also mentioning that we are going to talk about how are we going to do it. So it would be great if you could talk about such case studies or examples.
Yeah, there are a lot of those things. Like I can also talk about the recent things that we have done for MPL, right? So again, see over here, when you go to US market and in a highly regulated industry, which is gaming, right? And again, for US, where the market is driven mainly by iPhone users, and because of all these iPhone restrictions, you're not also getting a lot of data of the users, right? So it becomes again difficult to market. So given that all these challenges are there, right? But still, you would like to, run your campaigns, and you would like to, get the performance out of those campaigns. Again, key principles, basic things will help. So I think the few things that has helped us really is that we were focusing majorly on just okay getting the iOS market, right? But I did some basic research and found that okay, Android is also a good market over there, which is roughly 40 to 45%, right? And that is not a small number. And then we've started plugging performance marketing to the Android piece of the things, because in Android, again, there is no challenges with respect to data. And the only challenge over there is that the channels are limited because of the regulations, but still data piece is available for you, so that you can understand the kind of users you are getting and try to figure it out, okay, what targeting is working for you in that case. Okay. And that was the game changer for us. We got to know a lot of information about our users, which was not available very handy because of the iOS restrictions. And then we try to just replicate those things on iOS, because ultimately, if you know that okay, your user is this person, irrespective of the devices, it's the user behavior, its demographic, and other intent will be more or less similar, irrespective, if he's using Android or if he's using iOS. But since we've started getting those information about from our Android users, okay, if this user is converting, what are the traits of these users? If you just get that and try to copy those things in your iOS, so again, this has helped scaling our iOS campaign. So this is a recent example, I would say. Few other things I can also talk about that I personally like, which has helped. One of my client's business growth is using a chatbot kind of a thing to generate leads. Basically, they were struggling to get the leads on a daily basis, and the CAC was very high, the CPL was very high. We've started again. Final outcome was chatbot, but we've started with a very basic, questionnaire kind of a Google form, saying that okay, this is the form, and you can just fill it. And we have started seeing a CAC going down because even a user who is coming to your website, they have a fear that okay, first of all, your website is not optimized. They don't know okay where the form is, right? Sometimes they're just scrolling and they forgot okay, what exactly I need to fill. But if someone is poking you, okay, hi, my name is Sandesh, how are you, people have a tendency to to reply. And even if you're getting a phone number, right, in just 3 or 4 questions, you are done, because that is your lead. And later obviously you can qualify your lead by asking 4 more questions, so that the sales team can also understand that okay, this is the user and this is the problem he's suffering from, and provide the right solution. So I think all these things, some experiments are the key things. So try to do those things, and just don't focus yourself in just thinking okay, this is one thing I know and I will do this. Try to do a lot of research, try to understand whatever campaign you're doing for any geography, for any demographic and all those things. Try to understand what users are, what kind of their behavior, and then try to see whether you have uh, you know doing it 360-degree for all the users, or still you are just focusing on one thing. And if you're opening it to all users, then definitely things will start improving.
All right. Uh, these are very useful case studies and examples that you've shared. Thank you so much for that. And that's all. That's all from our side. Thank you so much, Sandesh, once again for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you're very busy right now, and being here with us and sharing such expertise, value, and valuable insights on unleashing performance marketing for non-tech marketers. It's been an amazing conversation. Any final points that you want to share or feedback for us?
I think all good, nothing major, but just I think to our listeners, I would just say that even if they are just getting 10% of or whatever discussions we have done, right, just try to follow that. I think a lot of time I've seen that people are just consuming that information but not following those things in real life. Just try to follow at least 1 or 2 points. I think very important for any marketer to grow in this is to start executing. So whatever you feel that okay, this is something that you would like to try, start at least, right? And eventually you will, once you will start, you will also see that okay, things are improving, so you will also get more interest to do a next set of things. So I think just start. Even 10% is fine. No one is expecting that you have to follow the entire 100% of these, but do that at least 10% so that you can grow in your career.
That's wonderful. I think implementation of such techniques is very important,
Yes.
not just listening it. Thank you, everyone. Now to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Plum Talks. You can connect with Sandesh to the link given below. We'll also connect your LinkedIn so that they can connect with you directly. And stay
Sure.
tuned for our next podcast where we will continue to explore the ever-evolving landscape of marketing. You can also visit plumfind.com. Have a nice day. Thank you.